Filipa Arantes Pedroso from Morais Leitão Law Office in Portugal, Lisbon. Filipa, welcome to the Iberian Property Talks. My first question is on your experience as a lawyer. What do you feel are the most impacted real estate sectors?
Well, certainly the first real estate sector that is having a terrible impact is tourism. Hotels, restaurants, resorts, short rentals, tourists. There is no tourism, so this has a very, very, very important impact. This is one of them. But I think also with this COVID and with the delay of the rents or the rents that have been delayed by law, this has also a very big impact on companies, especially REITs, portfolios that live on leases, are having very, very big problems because they are not receiving the rents. And this is certainly difficult. They'll have problems they are having already problems because they are not receiving, they have no remuneration and they have to continue to pay to all their providers and all their employees, even though they can do the layoff, which is some kind of help, but not in all cases. So this is another sector that I think is being very affected by the COVID-19.
The pipeline under construction, do you believe they will follow? For planned projects, they will be delayed. What is your experience?
Construction has not stopped. In my experience and in the experience that we have with our clients, construction that was ongoing is continuing, maybe at a slower pace, but is continuing. On the other hand, new construction, the problem may not be with the construction itself, but I think the main problems here are the banks. Banks have a very recent bad experience in Portugal, and many of them are not granting new financing to companies that were starting projects or were negotiating projects. We have very big projects that are on hold because the financing is on hold. This is something that we have to see how this in the future, what is going to happen. And we are trying to find for these clients new opportunities in other banks, mainly Spanish banks, to continue these projects. And I think, on the other hand, the promoters, the owners, wish to continue, want to continue, because although there's an uncertainty in what is going to happen, how long this is going to take, how is going to be the after lockdown. This is a very important questions that we still don't have an answer. We don't know when, how long, but one thing is certain. There are a lot of entities looking for a vaccine. A vaccine will be ready, if not in 2021 earlier. And this will be the end of this problem. But until then, I think people are investors, and our problem in Portugal is that we want foreign investors. We have a lot of foreign investors. More than 80% of the investors are foreign investors. And so we have to wait and see what is going to happen. So they are cautious, but I don't think things are stopping. Things are ongoing, and I'm very confident that construction will continue in the near future.
Banks, mention them, and they are being part of the equation to relaunch the economy. So, in your view, what are the most urgent policies to relaunch economy and real estate economics?
I think we have to relaunch economy in the real estate sector. There is some things that we have to do, or the government has to do. One of them is certainly related with taxes. It's a fact that, as I said before, the owners, the landlords, are not receiving the rents. Rents are on hold, and are on hold for we don't know yet how long, but they are on hold. And what happens here? The state is again asking the private sector to support their social policy, because it's, of course, we know that there's a difficult situation for tenants, and some of them may not pay the rents. I'm not only talking on residential, but I'm talking mainly on commercial. And if they are not paying the rents, the promoters and the owners have a lot of difficulties to go ahead. So taxes like the municipality tax, the transfer property tax, IMT, IME, EV, IME, all these taxes should also be suspended, I believe, during at least this year, to help the economy and to help these owners that pay these taxes and are not receiving their rents. Another important tax is VAT. It's not only I would say, and there's a big current that is trying to have VAT in construction going down from 23% to 6%. This is important, and I believe it was the 6%, and we can see our cities that have the rehabilitation in our cities has been very important, and in these rehabilitations the VAT tax is 6%. And this should be for all construction. If we want construction to have lower prices, we need lower prices to sell, and we need leases with lower prices. And for this, we have to lower the prices of construction, and big burden that it is for the promoters, which have to pay 23% of VAT, and then they cannot get back that VAT because they sell without VAT. In the sale of real estate, you don't have VAT. And so this is also something that we should think about, because in the sale, you have countries where you sell with VAT. And when you sell in VAT, you can get the VAT that you expended in construction. This is another very important issue that we need to look at it, because it's important for the follow-up of this of the prices in construction. And I think another important issue that you have to have success is also changes. We know that from the first, when we had in 2008, 2012, and 2014, at that time, when we had the boom in the real estate, what was behind this? Changes to the lease agreements, golden visas, short rentals, and after this, rehabilitation. All these important laws, such as leases, all of them, golden visas and short rentals, have been changed or are in the way of being changed, because this new budget of the state, they are thinking of also changing the golden visa, the short rentals, the non-resident, non-habitual residents. So all these important law that made a boom in the construction in the real estate are now being analyzed again and have the risk of being changed. So I think this is also something that we need to think about, if we should, because these agreements have already been changed in a manner that it's not benefit for the owners and for the landlords and for the investors. Another big problem is licensing. licensing is, we know, has been talked quite a long time, because we need that licensing is quicker and more effective, and we can have much quicker all the license to construct and to go ahead with the real estate.
Perfect.
I think that these are the main problems.
Filipa, you leave here three very important points to make this working better in Portugal. Many thanks for your contributions for these talks of Iberian property. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Many thanks.
Thank you, Antonio. You're welcome. Thank you. It's a pleasure.